Hello students. So here we will study today the different ODS and in the chapter pollution of air and water. Okay. So ODS and pollution control, how to control the pollutions and how we can minimize the pollution, that we will study. Now we know that the ozone layer, that depletion in the ozone layer, that affects us a lot, because the ozone layer, that is responsible to protect us from the ultraviolet ray. So ozone layer depletion, this is a very major issue now. Now some points we are including here that will help us to prevent this problem at a global level. First, avoid using the ODS. And we know that the ODS, that means we can have CFC, we can have HCFCs. So we can have a lot of different type of gases that are very harmful for us. And so we are trying to avoid the use the ODS and reduce the use of ozone depleting substances. That means the substances, we know that the main reason is that we are using in every home, we are using refrigerators, we are using air conditioner, we are using air conditioner in every home. So this will create the different types of ODAs, and this replacing the halon based fire extinguisher. So we can reduce the use of refrigerators, air conditioners, replacing the halon based fire extinguisher, and minimize the use of vehicles. So this we can do if short distance. For the short distance, we can move while walk or bicycle or cycle. Okay. And another thing, for the long distance, we can use public transport. We can use public transport instead of our own transport. Okay, instead of our own vehicle. So public transport, that means whatever the, in this way we can minimize the exhaust or the vehicles which emits the different types of like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, these type of gases. So we can minimize those constant. Okay, so these things we can, constituents we can reduce. Okay, now the vehicles emit a large amount of greenhouse gases and that lead to the global warming. So we have to use the public transport as much as possible, public transport as much as possible. And because the vehicles that emit a large amount of greenhouse gases, and if greenhouse gases will be emitted, and that will make the ozone depletion and global warming, that will create the global warming. So and if global warming will be there and ozone depletion will occur, so we have to reduce that thing. And use of vehicles should be minimized as much as possible, and eco-friendly cleaning products we have used, because from the detergents also we can have the constituents, that is the, we can get the greenhouse gases. So eco-friendly cleaning products we have to use. Now, most of the cleaning products, those have the chlorine. And we know that the chlorine that will react with the ozone, and it will create the chlorine monoxide, and there is some O2. So also chlorine and bromine, that is used in the cleaning products. So in the cleaning products, we are using chlorine and bromine releasing chemicals. Releasing chemicals. Okay, and these chemicals will affect the atmosphere as well as they affect the ozone layer. So this should be substituted with the natural products to protect the environment. Okay. Next, nitrogen, you know that the nitrous oxide should be prohibited because this nitrous oxide, it will create, first thing, the acid rain will be created that is harmful for our atmosphere. So nitrous oxide we have to avoid, and government also taken so many actions and prohibit the use the harmful nitrous oxide adverse effect of the ozone layer. So that's why government already taken so many actions, and people should be made aware of harmful effects of nitrous oxide and products emitting the gases, and its use should be minimized. So minimize the nitrous oxide use of nitrous oxide or the process which releases nitrous oxide which releases nitrous oxide. That is very important thing, because it will just increase the problem of the atmosphere and the ozone depletion layer that will be created. So here this gas that is used generally for the medical and dental procedures as a sedative, and it helps to relieve the anxiety before the procedure and allow the patient to relax. So these gases we have to use very less amount, until otherwise we can see that there will be a very problematic situation will be created. Now you can tell me that this where the nitrous oxide will be used. I am writing here nitrous oxide. I am changing the pen color. Wait, okay. So it can be used for general anesthesia, procedural sedation, dental anesthesia, and to treat severe pain. Okay, so this nitrous oxide potent analgesic properties and can be useful in providing analgesic in settings such as the obstetrical ward or emergency department. So this nitrous oxide we are trying to avoid this nitrous oxide because there are different side effects of the nitrous oxide in human body also. The side effects of the nitrous oxide, the side effects, the global warming is the effect, but side effects of nitrous side effect of nitrous oxide like memory loss, memory loss, maybe depression, and psychological dependence, psychosis, weak immune system. So it can have weak immune system. We can have weak immune system if we are using a lot of this type of things. And nitrous oxide, that is also this breathing nitrous oxide can cause dizziness, unconsciousness, and even death. So long term exposure can lead to the infertility also. So nitrous oxide is not a good thing, so we should avoid the nitrous oxide procedure, and we should find out several different types of other procedures also. Okay, now the question the question is the what is ozone layer depletion and how does it occur? So let's try to write the answers. the thinning of the ozone layer present in the upper atmosphere is called ozone layer depletion. Some chemical compounds release chlorine and bromine, which is exposure to high ultraviolet light causes the depletion of ozone. Okay. Next, what are ozone depleting substances? Give examples. The chemical substances which are responsible for depletion of the Earth's protective ozone layer are called ozone depleting substances ODS. Okay. Examples are halogens, chlorofluorocarbons, hydrofluorocarbons, carbon tetrachloride, etc. Okay. Next, what is the main aim of the Montreal Protocol? The Montreal Protocol is a global agreement which was proposed in the year 1987. The agreement focuses the agreement just a minute, focuses on protecting the ozone layer by minimizing the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances. Next question, what are the effects of ozone layer depletion on human health? Ozone layer helps in shielding the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. Depletion of the ozone layer exposes humans to harmful ultraviolet rays. This causes skin disease, cataract, cancer, impaired immune system, etc. Okay. Now, ozone layer depletion. So, the release, if they will ask to write short note on ozone layer depletion. So, the release of chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, and hydrochlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere is the major cause of depletion of the ozone layer. The depleting ozone layer does not prevent the harmful ultraviolet rays coming from the sun and cause skin diseases and eye problems among individuals. Okay. Now, effect on animals. So, the air pollutants suspend in the water bodies and affect the aquatic life. So, Let me change the pointer color. And it affects the aquatic life. So pollution also compels the animals to leave their habitat and shift to a new place, and this renders them stray and has also led to the extinction of the large number of animal species. So this is the effect of the air pollution on the animals. Now the air pollution control. How we can control this? First thing, the people should avoid using vehicles for shorter distance. Better you walk. If distance a little bit long, then you better you use the cycles. Okay. So bicycles. And they should prefer the public transport rather than their own vehicle. Because each vehicle that will emit the gases that are very much harmful for the atmosphere. And this is not only prevents the pollution, that means whenever you are using public transportation, then it will prevent the pollution. Also, it will conserve the energy, because you know that we are using diesel, petrol, this type of fuels in case of our in case of our vehicles. So if we are using public transport, that means if instead of 20 cars, if we I am using only one public transport, so I can save the energy also. Okay. And energy conservation. So this is the most effectful, this is the most important method, because a large number of fossil fuels are burned to generate the electricity. So in the thermal plant, we know that in the thermal plant we use the coal, petroleum, this type of oils. Now, so that we can do one thing, we are just switching to the solar energy, solar energy and wind energy. So here in this case there will be no, in this case there will be no this will not emit any gases that is harmful for our atmosphere. And use of energy efficient devices, like if you are using tube, now we are using led, light emitting diode. So we are using leds, we are using cfls. So we are using CFLs to control the, we are using CFLs to control the pollution also, because if less electricity you are using, at that time, what you know that at that time you can save the energy. So CFL, as you know that this is the compact fluorescent lamp. Okay. So if we are using LED lamp or CFL lamps, you can see that will save the energy saving bulb. This is, and that consumes much less energy than the conventional incandescent lamps. So it is made up of glass tube along with the two electrodes. So you can see that if we are using CFLs or LEDs, so you can save the energy. We can save the energy, that is the thermal energy. Okay, we can save the energy. Now, another thing, that is the use of clean energy resources like solar energy, wind, geothermal energies reduce the air pollution at a regular level. So it will reduce the, that means we to control air pollution, we can use we can use solar energy, and we can use wind energy, and we can use also geothermal energy. Okay, so various countries including India have implemented the use of these resources, and you can see that the solar energy, wind energy we are using widely. Geothermal energy still we are not using widely, but we are trying to. The researchers are they are doing their job very well, and we are going to use this in a huge amount. Okay. Now, the other air pollution control measures are by minimizing and reducing the use of fire and fire products, right? So in case of Diwali, what you are saying that don't crackers are not allowed, only just light the LED or some diya. Okay, so that can be done. So since industrial emissions are one of the major cause of the air pollution, so the pollutants can be controlled or treated at the source itself to reduce the effects. That means whatever the exhausted amount of gases, that can be also, there will be some treatment, and after the treatment you can have the purified air also. And if the reactions of certain raw material yield a pollutant, then the raw material can be substituted by the other material which has less amount of polluting material. Okay, so that means the raw material we can change a little bit. Another thing, the fuel substitution. So the fuel substitution, we can use biofuel. Also, we can use the CNG. CNG we are using a lot. CNG we are using a lot, and biofuel also we can use. So that is biofuel, that is also very important thing. And biofuel that is produced, the biofuel, it is a fuel that is produced over a short time span from biomass rather than by the very slow natural processes involved in the formation of fossil fuels such as oil. Since biomass can be used as a fuel directly, some people some people use the words biomass and biofuel interchangeably. Okay, so this is the biofuel, so we can use also biofuel and CNG also, the compressed natural gas fuel. The CNG also we can use, so you can see that the using CNG and also the biofuel, we can reduce the pollution. Okay, so vehicles that are not fully operated with ideal emission engines. And another thing, the electric vehicle also we can use, and solar vehicle also we can use, also we can use. And the electric vehicle that is dependent on the solar energy, that we also can use. Now CNG, so this CNG, this is the compressed natural gas, this is a fuel gas mainly composed of methane compressed to less than 1% of the volume, and it occupies at standard atmospheric pressure, and it is stored and distributed in hard containers at a pressure of 20 to 25 megapascals, usually in a cylindrical or spherical shapes. So this is the compressed natural gas. Okay, so this we can use. So now We can use the electric vehicle. That electric vehicle, that means that not the thermal one, that is dependent on the solar, and biofuel also we can use. Now, although there are many practices in India which focuses on repairing the quality of the air, most of them either forgotten or not being enforced. So there are still lot of vehicles on roads and have not been tested for vehicle emission. And Delhi, you know that, you heard the news that Delhi, that is the most polluted place here. So air pollution that we have to control. Air pollution that we have to control in different states of our India. Okay, so that thing is very very important. Until unless you can see that, there will be a huge problem. There will be a huge problem. So you can see that the air pollution, different we have to take the different preventive steps also to take the air pollution in a controlled manner. Okay. Now, another way of controlling air pollution that caused by industries is to modify and maintaining the existing pieces of equipment so that emission of pollutants is minimized. So in industry, we know that there will be so many equipments or so many machineries we are using that are driven by some petrol or diesel. So we can use the solar energy in that cases. So we can reduce the pollution. We can reduce the pollution. And sometimes controlling the pollutants at the source is not possible, but whenever the exhaust is coming at that time, whenever it emits the gases, that gases can be purified also. That gases can be, so process control equipment that to control the pollution we can use. Okay, so many filters we can use, so many process we can use for to protect the to reduce the pollution. And very effective way of controlling the air pollution is the diluting the air pollutants. And the last and best way of reducing the ill effects of air pollution is tree plantation, because that is a thing tree that is the main thing which can save us. So tree plantation, much tree plantation you do it, more tree plantation, plants and trees that reduce large number of pollutants in the air, it will purify the air. And there are so many plants also, they are purifying the air. So ideally, the planting trees in areas of high pollution levels will be extremely effective. So this is a good approach. Tree plantation, this is a good approach to control the air pollution. To control the air pollution. Okay. Now, so different questions again. So we have studied how to control the air pollution. Now, the question, what is the major cause of air pollution? Here, the main cause of air pollution is the burning of fossil fuels. Harmful gases like sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, etc. are released into the atmosphere due to incomplete combustion of fossil fuels, which pollutes the air. Okay. Next, how are pollution cause global warming? In air pollution, the release of greenhouse gases changes the gaseous composition of the atmosphere and causes an increase in the temperature of the earth. This increased temperature of earth is known as global warming. Next question. What is acid rain? Name the gases responsible for acid rain. Acid rain is the precipitation of acid in the form of rain. The harmful gases like nitrogen oxides and sulfur oxides, sulfur dioxide or sulfur oxides are released into the atmosphere by burning the fossil fuel. These pollutants react with the rainwater and fall as acid rain. Next question. Deforestation is a major reason of air pollution. Explain. Deforestation can be defined as the large scale removal of trees from forests or other lands. Plants utilize carbon dioxide CO2 from the atmosphere for the process of photosynthesis. This causes this causes a decrease in the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. As the number of trees decline due to deforestation, the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere increases, causing air pollution. Okay, so this much for today. Thank you all.